Indigenous Rights Radio, because knowledge is power.
Dr. Timothy Thurston, a folklorist and a scholar of Tibetan studies, recently invited Cultural Survival to attend a symposium on cultural sustainability that was held at the University of Leeds from June 27th to June 29th. We spoke to some of the delegates who attended the symposium. This is Sheldon Ferris for Cultural Survival's Indigenous Rights Radio. We are in the UK, in London, attending the Global Symposium on Cultural Sustainability. And for World Youth Skills Day, we'll be asking some questions to some of the panelists. Let's start with an introduction, please. Can we have your name, your surname, your tribal affiliation, and also tell us a little bit about the work that you do?
Hello, Sheldon. My name is Kikee Doma Bhutia. I come from, used to be a Himalayan Buddhist kingdom called a country Sikkim, which is now a part of 22nd state of Indian Union. We merged with India in 1975 due to geopolitical issues and internal crisis relating to multiple voices against democracy or monarchy. Yeah. So currently I work at University of Tartu in Estonia. At the university I work at Asian Center, where I work on perceptions of indigenous communities or perceptions of less known countries, and how it's important also to keep understanding their existence. For example, Estonia itself being a really small country, unknown in many parts of the world to some extent, also try to insert their importance through UNESCO World Heritage Sites or in different mediums. Considering the Russian crisis in Ukraine at the moment, Estonia is also very small, so they could be the next target. So in that way, Estonia and Sikkim being this completely small country, that one that lost their sovereignty due to the geopolitical crisis, and the one that is looking at one of the biggest geopolitical crises. So what I do is look at these aspects and bridge the gap between what is missing, what are we not looking at.
That's a wonderful and very, very interesting introduction. So, our concern for World Youth Skills Day is particular for the youth of, I think, your country of birth. So, what are some of the popular professions that the youth are getting into today?
I think youth everywhere is kind of becoming homogeneous to some extent due to globalization or the accessibility of internet. So in Sikkim also we used to be a sustainable agricultural country. We used to grow our own rice, all the vegetables, and like one of the fascinating fact about Sikkim is that we are known as our older name was like Beul Demajong, which means hidden land of fruitful valley and fruits, which means we had such abundance of nature that was providing us enough food to sustain ourselves, because we were quite remote and cut off from other parts of the world. But today, now that we are part of India, this sustainable agricultural practice are not anymore practiced as intensely as we used to before. And there is a new formation of understanding such as organic farming. So Sikkim has been recognized as an organic mission state in 2015, 2016. And we also received like an award from United Nations Food and Agricultural Organization, I think in around the same time, 2016, about organic sustainable agricultural practice. So we used to be popular in that regard, but today's the new generation has moved towards initially government employment. Yeah, the government was providing employment to the younger generation. That included, for example, teaching in schools, university, junior engineers, um, from a small task of handling office work to the big task like policy making was handled by the youth. They were the one who were handling these positions, and the government job was really chase after position. But now we see today, like at the current moment, we see a saturation in the government job as well, because there are too much people and too little job. So what they try to do is they try to find new mediums of expressing their frustrations, as well as keeping even intact with your roots. So that would be like digital media, right? There are a lot of influencers coming up now. There are a lot of entrepreneurial ideas that are coming up. So to like really briefly mention, there are local communities, local youth who are developing indigenous practices and commercializing it, commodifying it to sell it to the wider audience, and they are making these entrepreneurial startups. So there are startups, there are influencers, there are government employees, and there are also few community local people who does agricultural practices. So these are the, yeah.
Thank you so much for that answer. So, are there any skills that our parents used to do, perhaps, that are very important to Sikkim that will not be sustained going forward? Some skills, maybe like agriculture or weaving, that is of importance to protect the cultural sustainability of the community that the kids are not interested in. Just give me your thoughts on those careers and how globalization is changing that.
I think when this question was put up, I cannot help but look back to my relationship with my mother. For example, the fact that today I introduce myself as a folklorist is based on the story that were passed down to me by my mother. So when I was growing up in Sikkim in 1990s, early 1990s, we used to have like in the evening session with my mother and my 4 5 sisters and brothers, like cousins and everyone. We would sit around fireplace, and mother will tell us different stories. So I think one of the biggest skill that is disappearing, maybe not such skill that can be commodified at this stage in Sikkim, would be this storytelling sessions. Yeah, that has shifted to TV later, and now to everyone looking at their phones. So they don't spend time with their grandparents, they don't spend time with their mothers or fathers who are knowledgeable, who know so much stories about the kingdom, how we used to be, right? So these storytelling are disappearing eventually. Second thing, I think one of the skill that is disappearing, not only skill in people, but also Sikkim in general, due to climate change, due to non-fertility of the land at the moment, or due to lot of career like a shift, is Sikkim used to be one of the top producers of this large cardamoms. We used to be like one of the top producers in India of large cardamom that used to be imported in Europe and in US. And I remember growing up, we used to spend like days for daily wage for like 5 rupees, which is like, I don't know, 25 cents, in the forest collecting these cardamom and drying them. So now I think after climate change and after the land problems, the cardamom has completely disappeared. So Sikkim doesn't produce cardamom anymore. Can you imagine, from the top in 1990s to now not producing nothing at all? So in that way, I think now the new generation will not even know the smell of a cardamom, or wouldn't know how to produce these cash crop, which are very niche to Sikkim anymore. And they will be able to hear about these stories of how we used to do cardamom, but again, they do not spend time with their older generations, so it can be like one of the problem. So in that way, I think number one is storytelling, number two is learning certain skill of growing certain productions or produce that are only particularly to Sikkim, and number three is like really manual labor of construction or building. For example, since we became a part of India, my father, who used to build kitchen out of bamboos, like weaving bamboos, we used to make a kitchen, and I have a very fond memory of living in a kitchen like that. But today, because we are so close to India and the Indian migrant labor are much more cheaper, Then doing this bamboo weaving, it takes days and weeks to finish the weaving for all the walls. But this Indian migrant labor, they will do it within 1 week, cemented bricks, everything, right? So the entire Sikkim is transforming into this concrete jungle instead of aesthetic old Sikkimese architectural houses. We have now buildings, and this is not suitable for our environment or nor for even human being who lives there, because it's too cold in winters. And so in that way, so there are this manual skill of constructing or weaving, these are also getting lost. So in that way, that's what I can think of on top of my head.
What is your message for the youth on World Youth Skills Day?
I don't think I am in this level or space of giving a message. But as I also discover my own life, I think if you want to become rich and successful, like we all want, have a money, have an opportunity, then we need to be very flexible and very adaptable, right? Like a water, we put in any vessel and you take forms. And while doing that, you make lots of friends, lots of network, have to be outgoing, like can connect with any kind of people. But if you want to change the world, if you want to make a mark, if you want to do something and swim against the river or current, then you have to be very courageous. You have to be courageous in a way that you should be ready to be disliked, you should be ready to be criticized, and in that way you can make changes. And to make changes means to remain true to your identity. You go in any space, you don't change forms, but you insert that I am the Sikkimese, I come from this country that no longer exists, so, and it takes a lot of courage to continuously do that. And while you trying to do that, you will lose a lot of people. But what will happen is the like-minded people who will admire your integrity and your identity will stay around you. So in that way, I think it's all about, it comes down to making choices. You make choices depending on what you want to achieve in your life, where you want to lead your life. Either you want to die in a big bungalow with, I don't know, Ferrari, or you want to die surrounded by the entire community next to you in a hut, right? So it's our choice. And this is possible at this point. Can you imagine the world has become so big and but yet so small, that this is possibility for us to achieve with English, with education, with connectivity, with internet. Yeah. So this is what I would like to tell. I don't know. Maybe it makes sense or doesn't.
No, I think it does. It's great, great advice for the youth. A wonderful place to live it. Thank you so much, Kikee. Great advice, and we appreciate the opportunity for being able to interview you. This is Shaldon Ferris for Cultural Survival's Indigenous Rights Radio at the Global Symposium on Cultural Sustainability at Leeds University in the United Kingdom.